everybody. Welcome into a brand new episode of Your Fave Show, Cover 4. You notice we're all matching today. Somebody give me a little model action for this.
Dave, do you toes up?
There we go. Oh, there we go. There we go.
That looks so nice on you, David.
These are legit.
As good as I felt doing.
Yes, 100%. Get these guys at JCPenney. Let me tell you why. There's some meaning behind this. So when you purchase these fleeces or sweaters at a JCPenney store, they're going to donate $10 back to the Salvation Army, and you get a chance to be on the field at AT&T Stadium on Thanksgiving for Ellie Goulding.
Yeah, you can be up close and personal right there in the mosh pit on the field.
It's going to be great. And I don't know about you guys, but Ellie Goulding, I hear, is like the most amazing performer ever. So all you have to do is purchase one of these at JCPenney stores. Go to DallasCowboys.com/JCPenney to find out which stores are eligible for you to make this purchase. I love them this year.
I do too.
They're so warm. They're so comfortable.
Can I see them again?
They're quilted. Oh, I'm going to wear it like every day. I just kind of want to walk around the set right now in my
Look good, give back.
Yeah, it's true.
It's always a good thing.
Look good, give back. Let's go to the injury report because yesterday Jason Garrett dropped a bomb on us with some offensive linemen that are going to be beat up going forward. Connor Williams having a scope on his knee. I know those aren't too serious, but at this time of the year, Barry, yes, they are.
Yes, they pile up. We've seen this happen before where the injury report is a mile high going into the beginning of the week, but somehow, some way, these players seem to play on Sunday, so hopefully that can happen here. As long as Ford's back there, though, I think they should have a chance.
Yeah, I mean, I feel all right about Zach and Lyle. Those guys are warriors, but Lindsay, you're right. I mean, Connor Williams is having surgery. Actually, he probably already had it this morning. Look for Xavier Suafilo back at left guard. This is like honestly the same time of year this happened.
It is.
Last year, stepped in on the way up to Philly at the start of that Cowboys winning streak. Don't think Connor Williams is the reason why they're necessarily losing games, but maybe this can be a spark for the running game that struggled.
You brought it up. He was 7-1 last year when he came in to play on that offensive line. So this is what Will McClay and this team does well. They know that these guys are going to get beat up in the trenches, and you have to have strong depth. I mean, Xavier Suafilo, he's not a bad guy. He had been on the Texans. He was a great draft pick for them, and now he's had a resurgence here.
All right, let's go to the locker room because for the first time, Michael Bennett has spoken, and we're going to let you hear.
I was floored. Yeah.
Okay, let's hear it. Let's hear a piece.
Just talk about your process fitting in with this team the last couple of weeks.
It's been pretty much a good journey coming from New England, coming here. A lot of great players, and just trying to figure out how to get in there.
What excites you about being a Dallas Cowboy?
I don't know, man. What excites you?
Covering the Cowboys?
Okay, that's great.
How has Chris helped you get into that group?
Chris
Richard.
Oh, yeah, we go way back. I think we grew up together. We play a lot of winning football together. I'm used to winning, and that's just a part of the process. I think we've always been friends. I always text him when I wasn't playing, and when he was in the off season, checked on his family. So it's always been a close relationship.
So, Barry, if you're in that locker room, what are your impressions of that? You see him next to you, kind of leaned up.
His sway back and forth, his leaning up against the wall. He's a cool, calm, and collected type of guy. I mean, but on the field, I mean, he's a high energy, high motor guy. So he's fitting well for this Cowboys defense. Hopefully, he can continue that for the rest of the season. And
reading between the lines, or not reading between the lines, but paraphrasing the rest of his interview, guys, yesterday, he said, he's asked about being a part of this defense. He said, well, DeMarcus Lawrence is the key. I'm just another piece.
Yeah. Man, he had some high praise for Tank. He compared him to Rondé Barber, Fletcher Cox, Richard Sherman, Earl Thomas. Literally was like, he's at the top of the list of guys I've played with, and he has played with some like Hall of Fame caliber guys. So really, really impressive. I was just, on a Monday night, they put us in the locker room at 5:30 after a loss. Wasn't really expecting to hear from anybody, and we hear from the guy that we haven't heard from in 3 weeks. So it was cool to finally hear Michael kind of dish on being part of the team.
Yeah, and he talked about his journey. He still has 2 former teams he's going to play this season in those 7 games. So hopefully he brings the energy that Barry's talking about there too.
He also said he doesn't know if this will be the last season of his career. So.
One game at a time, one year at a time.
Honesty. No, literally. If we could get that more.
It was an interesting interview. He's like, maybe I'll retire after this season. I don't know. We'll see. So
all right, let's play a little retweet, like, or block. And I love these tweets that we have today. The success of the defense hinges on how well these linebackers play week to week. Are we retweeting this, Lycan?
Yes, we're retweeting this.
All about the backers.
We're absolutely retweeting it. They were so fantastic last year. They were billed as one of the biggest strengths. They haven't been awful, but they haven't been all-pro caliber, which is what the expectation was. I mean, Leighton was an all-pro as a rookie. You got Sean Lee as your third linebacker. You think it's going to lead to a lot of success. It hasn't been the case.
Could I add a word at the end of this sentence? Consistently.
Yeah.
If they play consistently, I'm retweeting that because these linebackers need to be on point always. You are going against the best running backs in the league. We saw what Dalvin Cook was able to do. That run defense is so important, and it does start up front.
Barry, when I see this tweet coming up, I go straight to your Twitter to see what you did with it. Dallas will prioritize Robert Quinn over Byron Jones in the offseason.
I hate to do it, but I'm going to like it. I think if Robert Quinn keeps this tear he's going on right now, I think he'll outprice himself from the Cowboys, so they won't be able to match it, what he's going on in the future. But as we've seen out there, Robert Quinn is balling right now. Byron Jones, he might be a high contract coming forward, so I think they'll prioritize Robert Quinn over Byron Jones.
You're saying just because of money?
Just because of money, yeah.
Yeah, and that makes sense. We'll have to see how that all plays out in the market.
Do you get the vibes in the locker room that Byron might? I don't know, Dave. He's just laid low this year. He's been very quiet.
I would argue Byron's always kind of laid low, though. Like
he was on Cowboys Hour last week. He said he didn't have cable for 3 months.
No, literally, Byron Jones, like he just kind of does his own thing. He always has. I don't get the vibe that he's like grumpy or upset about not having a contract. He's just kind of a low-key guy. I hadn't really thought about this until we put it on the rundown. I think I agree with you, Barry. I love Byron Jones to death, but it's the whole chicken or egg thing, right? Like pass rush typically helps your secondary cover better, right? So give me the bookend DNs.
That's the
I like where your head's at. Yeah, I like where your head's at.
I love it.
All right, the last one. Lamar Jackson's touchdown was the best quarterback run ever. And I'm just retweeting anything that has his name in it because he is my favorite right now.
Lamar's killing it.
Retweet it.
Retweet all day.
He would probably tell you that it isn't because that's just the kind of guy he is. And he did this in college. He won the Heisman, of course. But what a ridiculous play. The spin move.
I feel like this is that magical 2016 year for the Cowboys all over again. I don't want to see it end, but it's like he can do no wrong at this point.
I think it was always stupid that people thought Lamar Jackson couldn't play quarterback, but I don't know that anybody thought he would look this good.
I know I did.
I mean, MVP caliber season. It's only the halfway point, but good God, he looks good.
Comparison there.
He did. I mean, he has. He's right. Yeah, Harbaugh's like, you know how many kids are going to be wearing your jersey?
That's cool.
And he's right. It's really fun to watch.
The way he is off the field too.
Yeah,
absolutely number one in my book.
And they're showing us this B-roll. Yeah, Lamar's is better than these. Whatever. It might not be better than Vic's, honestly.
Oh, okay.
Vic's was a walk-off. Walk-offs are always better.
This is true.
But
I'm going to throw some numbers at you guys today. By the numbers. Here we go. And this is an ongoing debate for the first one here of how the Cowboys play when Dak has to throw the ball over and over. Well, the Cowboys are 18-16 when he attempts 30 passes or more.
Hey, it's a winning record.
There you go.
It's a winning record.
The right side over here, Barry.
Keep the ball in my guys' hands, man.
Hot hand.
Honestly, I wonder if it's trending upward in this last year. That is the key. A lot of these wins, maybe.
If I'm looking for a silver lining from the Minnesota game, and I know they lost. I'll say it again. I know they lost. But he was outstanding in a situation where he had to keep throwing the ball. It was really encouraging to see them basically be one-dimensional and still have success because that hasn't always been the case. It seems like Dak is growing into the type of quarterback that can take more of a load on his shoulders.
Lindsay said it, trending upward. It's the identity shift. People were more concerned that Zeke had the ball instead of Dak.
Right.
That wouldn't have been the case a couple of years ago.
All right, the next number for you is going to be number 19. And it's not because of his jersey. Amari Cooper recorded his 19th career 100-yard receiving game.
19 for 19, and if you look back, a lot of people consider Dez Bryant to be one of the best receivers that has ever played for the Dallas Cowboys. He only had 19 100-yard receiving games in his entire career, and his career was much longer than Amari's is at this point right now. So hats off to you because he's doing it on injuries. This guy is playing, and he is elevating the game of everyone around him. We saw Randall Cobb have a big day.
It's true. I mean, he's just going out there showing why he's one of the most explosive wide receivers in the game, one of the best route runners in the game. And like you said, he's doing it with injuries. 19 career 100-yard games, and Dez only had it through. That was an amazing stat.
2010.
That was an amazing
Different
stat.
types of receivers, obviously, but Amari, just everything he does is with finesse, and it's savage.
I think that was his 20th game with the Cowboys, and he's got 13 touchdowns since they traded for him.
I like that.
Yeah, it's good.
Give that to me.
50% the combined winning percentage of the remaining teams on Dallas's schedule.
You got to take advantage of opportunities.
I'm sick of playing this game, to be honest with y'all. I mean, seriously, like, we're sitting there like, well, they'll probably beat the Jets, and then they don't beat the Jets, and I don't know, the Patriots, the Bears, the Rams, like, honestly, most of these teams aren't playing the way that we expected them to anyway. Like, the Rams are not off to a great start this season. The Bears are struggling. The only thing you know for sure is that beating the Patriots on the road is going to be very hard. But I don't know. Until this team learns how to play consistently from week to week, I'm kind of over trying to forecast the future. No offense.
They got to become consistent.
Any given Sunday, you got to become consistent. Barry, I want to ask you this. When you move to the 2-minute drill, when you're looking outside the NFC East, is it tougher or is it the same preparation? You feel the same going into each of these games? Because the Cowboys are 1-4 against non-NFC East teams this year.
Well, I mean, you know those division opponents like the back of your hand if you play them twice every year. So that's kind of why I feel like they have an advantage against those teams. But outside the NFC East, they've had a tough schedule. I mean, they've lost to the Saints, Packers, and what was the other one, I believe?
Well, the Vikings.
And the Vikings. And those are all playoff teams. So it hasn't been an easy run for the boys. We'll slide that to the side. So it hasn't been an easy run.
And I remember every year in the offseason, we look at the schedule when it comes out in April. And this past year, we were like, this is a really tough schedule. And it was the same last year. So I guess you kind of forget that when you get in the thick of it.
Well, that's smart that you bring up last year because since 2018, they are 9-1 in the division and they are 6-9 outside of the division. So to me, it just seems like this team doesn't know their identity yet. They know these teams that they see twice a year. That's great. They know how to play those teams. But you need to know how to take a team. The Vikings hadn't won any games on the road this year.
What if I threw out that the notion that maybe your identity needs to change? Dave's looking at me like I'm crazy.
like, what are you trying to say?
I've just been hearing identity a lot. What if your identity needs to change every week based on who you play?
That's a great point.
That's what the Patriots do? I mean,
concept.
Maybe you don't just stick with your one identity. Maybe teams are different and every single week is different and you game plan different. And your identity should always be changing.
And that's why I think people bring up coaching.
You are?
Yes.
That's why people bring up coaching because you have to coach these teams up specifically to who is on the other side of the ball. Dalvin Cook, we knew he was going to take all 11 men on defense. We didn't see that.
Sorry, Dave. Do you guys in the locker room talk about identity as much as we do on the outside?
Not at all. I mean, we just
really?
Not at all.
It's a myth. Like, your identity should just be whatever it takes to win.
Yeah, last night I was bringing up Byron Jones on Cowboys Hour, and Brad was like asking him about the consistency and why it's not there and that it's a narrative of the season. And he just said, football is hard. Kyle Rudolph goes and makes a one-handed grab. How are you supposed to prepare for that? Football is hard.
Barry? Yes, it is.
Gotta lock Rudolph down.
Lock him down. Again, these fleeces, sweaters,
they're very
vests,
comfortable.
all of it. JCPenney, go get them. Salvation Army is going to get $10 off of every purchase, and you'll be in the running to get on the field with Dave and Tay at AT&T during a game.
We'll be there.
What could be better? See you guys tomorrow.
Dave will be on stage.